My cute and lovely Libras, this is your horoscope for 2025. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. I cannot believe how 2024 passed so fast. In a split second, it was already gone. Now, 2025, we're going to live in such a shifting year, in such an amazing period for all of us, for humanity, and for personally for each of us. Why? Because this is one in a lifetime year when all the planets change signs. It's like, experiencing all of a sudden shift in vibration of the universe, in vibration of Earth, our planet, and all other planets. Like, topic is totally changing. What we're thinking is totally changing. What we're doing and what's important in our lives also changing. And plus personally, your vibration is changing in a split second. It's crazy how 2025 will be the year, sort of, it will give you like a flashcard, like a trailer to the upcoming movie of the next 10 years or 20 or so. Because all these planets, like slow moving planets, like Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus, they all change signs. And this is like very rare event that they all change sign in the same year. And they are all slow moving planets. They affect us on a spiritual level, spiritual growth sort of level, subtle level. And they take like 10 to 15 years to change one sign. So you see how crazy is this? It's a once, like a lifetime chance to witness in 1 year all this energy shift from the planets, because it's not a coincidence when these planets, they shift in 1 year. It's very rare to experience. Also personal planets that affect us directly in our lives, like they are called personal because they are we feel their effects more, like in our lives, through events, through people, through situations. And those personal planets are Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. They're all gonna retrograde, meaning slow down, their speed. And first 4 months of 2025 will be very slow, and it's not advisable, it's not a good time, like not a good period to start anything new, because all of them will overlap with their retrogrades, almost starting retrograding one after another, and sort of first 4 months will be sort of preparatory, kind of. There might be some world events going on, like something gonna happen and whole world, or like each of us will have to figure out what to do next. And this 4 months sort of sleeping time, waiting time, trying to regroup, like our thoughts, our actions, what we're gonna do next, and all the stuff. And the slow moving planets, those karmic planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, they will all give us preview of what's to come, as I said. Now, for you, my dear Libra, one of the biggest 2025 news will be eclipses. They are finally leaving your sign. Eclipses, they usually bring once in a lifetime event, big changes, like it's like a rocket ship of the universe. It takes us to the point of our destiny where we're meant to be. And it pushes us out of our comfort zone so that we go and chase, like go after our dreams and go exactly to that point where we like wanted to be all the time, but somehow we had all the time excuses. And universe is done with that, and it utilizes these eclipses in our life so that we finally move forward in that area of life where these eclipses are falling. For you guys, for the last a year and a half, it was your sign, my dear Libras, because eclipses, they happen because of lunar nodes. Now, lunar nodes, they are also called destiny nodes in astrology, and they take 1.5 years, roughly speaking, in pair of signs, because they are two. So one is north node, another one's south node. North node is where we headed, like it's our destiny. South node is our past. It's what we should release, what we should say leave behind, and it's a lost kind of node. And all the things happen according to the nodes, either go forward, either you should release something from your life, like make a space so that new thing will come, that north node will be working. Now, they take, as I said, 1.5 years in pair of signs, and in your case, it was you and Aries. Now, Libra and Aries, you both were heroes for the past 1.5 years. Your lives got transformed unrecognizably. sort of, when eclipses fall, because eclipses happen because of these lunar nodes, and when they fall in our sign, it's basically all our like area, whole our natal chart is affected. And it can be any part of our area will be like changing, shifting. Like in your case, south node was in your sign, my dear Libras, so a lot of things you left behind. Seems like, for example, you renewed your life, you began a new life in another country or with another person. I don't know, you got divorced, you are now totally new sort of a life starting there. For the last a year and a half, since July 2023, your when they were falling in your first house and in your seventh house, because Aries is your seventh house, like opposite, these lunar nodes, they always opposite to each other. That's why, like, these two signs that are opposite is affected. And for you, it was first and, seventh house. Sort of, it seems like you shed it, like your previous life. You left behind whole chapter of your life, sort of a big story there, and you left it behind. You came out new, you renewed yourself. You had to lose a lot of things. You had to say no to a lot of things, and also to release, leave behind, because south node was in your sign, transforming you, your values, because it's angular houses. First house and seventh house in astrology, it's called angular houses, and they are very sensitive. They are one of the main axes, like personal axis. This is seven and first and fourth and 10th. This is like a cross in the sky. It's very sensitive one, and it affects basically whole chart. On your north node, there were events and situations happening in terms of your marriage, in terms of your loved one and only. There were a lot of changes. A lot of Libras got married. A lot of Libras got divorced, depending on your situations. Eclipses come, universe works in a way that it comes and checks if everything's all right, if you're going right on your path like that you're supposed to go. If not, then it corrects. But when it corrects, we usually shocked, we usually don't like, we usually are not willing to change. But always need to remember one thing. Universe wants us like better life. That's why whatever is happening, whatever fell back in your life, whatever God destroyed, no need to be, disappointed or sad about it. Instead, something new opened up. It's always like that with eclipses. You need to close the door which is behind you, so that the door in front of you will open. First, you need to close that back door, and that from time to time can be painful. I can relate, but still, one thing to remember: have faith and believe that everything is for better. Whatever changed in your situation, especially in your marriage life. And seventh house is also about business. A lot of Libras changed their career, like they found, let's say, better job, a better paying job, or that industry where you wanted always work. For example, you finally got into that big corporation, as an example, or you signed that client. I don't know, you brought that client into your company that you always wished to bring, as an example, my dear Libra, so you can translate it out what's for you there. Now, these lunar nodes, these rocket ships, they are shifting into your 6th and 12th house. Now, that is service access, and it's more, let's say, easier, like relatively easier to experience it, because north node will be in your 6th house, south node will be in your 12th house. Now, 12th house is, by default itself, is a house of loss, house of past, house of something that you need to close, something that you need to finish, and south node is exactly that thing. And it's mathematical point that you need to release something. And again, for the next year and a half, starting from January 29th, because January 29th, 2025 will be that day when lunar nodes, they shift into your 6th and 12th house. Service access, it's as it says, like you will have to, a lot of Libras will decide to go into service, not necessarily like serving other people, but first of all yourself, like fighting with, let's say, some situations like daily issues or errands, not necessarily problems. Whatever will be there, you will have sort of that power and will to move forward, to go forward, because north node will be pushing you in your 6th house to go and achieve things in your daily life, to transform your routine also. Sixth house is about like health, eating habits. You might quite seriously take up sport as an example. You might start going to gym or doing any type of sport, or you might start eating differently, like healthy lifestyle, for example, like totally saying no to sugar as an example for the next a year and a half, and you might transform your body also. In general, you might recall back 18 years ago to 2007 and 2008. What was going on in your life back then? If you are like enough aged, if you're that age, you might think back to 2007 and 2008. Similar topics might happen because lunar nodes were exactly in the same position as they will be from January 29th onward for the next year and a half. It can be that, nothing is exactly same in our lives. So it will be just similar topics, like something about your health, maybe sport life, maybe your job also. In the next year and a half, a lot of Libras also will shift themselves to a better position, not necessarily like new job, but it's a possibility, but also like to a better position within the company. They might climb the, career ladder here, quite few times, let's say. For me, like I can give you my example. For example, when lunar nodes, they were in my 6th house and 12th house, like for you right now, going to be next a year and a half. North node in the 6th house, south node in the 12th house. My eating habits changed. I started doing yoga. I got very interested in yoga. I practiced it like daily, and also like because it was in my 12th house, south node, like houses of loss, I lost my grandmother. But I'm not like sad anymore. It's just for a reason there. I know that it happened, and I need to move forward, and that's it. So if some things like this happen, also just one thing to remember: stay positive and move forward. Your north node is calling you, and that's your daily routine, job, all these things. And for you, it also could be like some similar topics here. And also people who work under you, like if you're a manager and you have a team, or even if you're like sitting with a baby at home, but you have a nanny as a helping, or someone helping you who you hired, or someone who cleans your house as an example, or apartment, those people who work for you also might change in the next a year and a half. Some things might be going on there. And also this is axis of health. Take good care about health. These eclipses will let you know if your well-being is on a positive side or it's downgraded. So, anyhow, upcoming eclipses will fall in your health house, and each of you guys might get to know actually what you are dealing with in terms of your well-being. Now, let's look at these eclipses. We will have 4 eclipses in 2025, and let me tell you, all of them amazing except for the last one, which will be a bit of a bumpy, just tiny one bumpy, but there will be help. Now we will get back to the last eclipse, but let's start with the first. March 14th, we have lunar eclipse in your 12th house. Now this eclipse is amazing, sudden, positive surprises, full of surprises eclipse, which is happening in your 12th house. For you guys, it seems like you might actually, suddenly have an opportunity to travel far, to far lands, like, I don't know, somewhere across the ocean or to another continent. Very, very far. You might have this kind of chance. Some of you guys might, but this surprise will come also with responsibility somehow, because Saturn will be active there, and Uranus, because of the surprises. Seems like those responsibilities will be heavy. Sort of, even if you travel, it might be that you will, travel for work, or at the same time sort of having some responsibilities there. Now, or you might travel with someone, like with your father as an example, but you will not so much enjoy the travel, let me tell you, because that person will be a bit of a, demanding and oppressive sort of kind of. Now, 12th house is also a house of everything private, everything behind the doors. And here you might have a surprise sort of project, a collaboration, or some offer to collaborate or work on something, but this will be, you will be preparing behind the door, sort of. You You will not tell to anyone that this thing happened in your life, but that will be huge thing that can make you like some kind of a boss, or some kind of, you might work on a secret project which will impact like lots of people, or there's like heavy demands and also responsibility will be on your shoulders around this project. This kind of lunar eclipse might happen like secretly, not telling your colleagues or anyone else. Let's say. Now 12th house is also house of surgeries. Here, if there will be sort of some surprise kind of procedures that you need to be doing there, no need to be worried about it, because Uranus has your back. It's a positive one. Anyhow, seems like, or your situation might be that you will get diagnosed with something which was like urgent, but you were so on time, like you got so lucky, surprisingly lucky. So, there is like easy treatment to that. Something sort of like this might happen. So around this, lunar eclipse, 14th of March, you will need to, a little bit make a space in your schedule for whatever surprises that this Uranus lunar eclipse might throw. Now, March 29th, we have second eclipse, which will happen in your 7th house, which is solar eclipse. Amazing one, superb one. Now, 7th house is all about love, is all about committed relationships, and it's our marriage life, like your husband, wife, or someone who you with long-term relationship. And here, a lot of Libras might actually get married or get proposed, or you might yourself propose, or you might simply take your relationship a step further, like to moving in together, or to, I don't know how to say, to relocate somewhere together, or to take it more to serious level, being I don't know, boyfriend and girlfriend, I don't know, something like this, which will deepen your bond, because this is very amazing, like amazing eclipse. That's why it's a positive one. Or if you're single, you will have a chance to meet your one and only, my dear Libras, around this March 29. Now, for some of you guys, it will be totally about business, like business relationship. You will have an opportunity to collaborate with someone special, which you will be very happy about. And you might also have an opportunity to work on some, like maybe to have a contract to sign with some other company. Could be job offer, or could be someone with whom you always wanted to work, and you will be signing some important paper here, and you will be extremely happy about this. And 7th house is also a house of lawsuits, and here, if you are involved in lawsuit, it seems like you're gonna win, my dear Libras. You are winning here. You might hear something like very good news around your lawsuit around these dates, and also it's like sort of winning against your enemies, because 7th house is also open enemies that we know face to face. Third eclipse, September 7. Now, September is by far the best month of 2025, my dear Libras. Whatever you're planning for your 2025, if it's possible, postpone it until September, because you will not regret, if you do so, because September is amazing, full of like positive energies, vibrations month. And it starts also with eclipse, lunar eclipse in your house of work. September 7th, perfect, stellar eclipse. At this eclipse, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, they're like angels. They're like heavy, slow-moving planets. They will form amazing connection between each other, and they will be at 1 degree in their own signs. It seems like, this trio, this is very rare aspect, and I'm so happy that we are here to witness this aspect, because it takes, I don't know, 1 in a million chance for these three to come at 1 degree in their signs, because all of them, they move slow. One of them like 7 years, another one takes 14 years, another one 15 to, I don't know, 20 years. So just imagine how, like, to make this trio happen to be that they are at 1 degree in different signs and making amazing aspects to each other, like collaborating with each other. This is super rare, and it's amazing. It's going to happen around this lunar eclipse in September, and whole September will be colored with their communication there, with this trio communication. Now it's happening in your 6th house. And again, my dear Libras, you sort of climbing your career ladder, seems like. You will have a stellar chance to find for yourself a better job with better salary, or Two, you might get a promotion around this, once in a lifetime promotion, not just a promotion, but something which is huge, something which is very positive and that you've never actually dreamed of, and it might be as a huge positive surprise also. Now, sixth house about health. For those of you who've been struggling, I don't know, with issues around your well-being or some sort of disease, then this lunar eclipse has the power to bring you happy news that you are all well and everything is perfect around this lunar eclipse. Now, sixth house is also a house of actually like hardships, some sort of daily life, like routine. And here something is transforming. Whatever hardship like you had within your daily routine, whether it's like taking care for your kids or trying to support your family, all those problems, like solving problems, house might get like miraculously solved. Actually, some sort of resort might come here, resolution might be there on the table, and you might take up that chance. And the last one, we have a solar eclipse in September 21st. Now, this one will have Saturn and Neptune oppose this solar eclipse in your 12th house. But as I said, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune at 1 degree, that trio will be helping you during this solar eclipse. So no worries, your back is covered, my dear Libras. And 12th house is all about surgeries again. If you're gonna have some surgery here, no worries on that. And 12th house is about travel and also about that secret project that you've been doing or you like since the beginning of the year until September. Around this solar eclipse, it might also come to light, or you might finish that project, let's say, at this solar eclipse, whatever you've been doing in hiding from everyone else. 12 house is also something like private, your privacy issues might be here forefront because Saturn will be opposing that eclipse, and it might be about privacy too. Now, let's talk about luck. Where is your luck in 2025? Now, Jupiter, planet of luck and abundance, also changes sign on June 9th. But before like this date, first 6 months of 2025, this luck will be occupying your 9th house. The 9th house is all about travels, all about widening, let's say, your belief, your hunger for more, to see more, to travel more, to learn more, and also to know more and search for life meaning, and Jupiter is making it bigger and bigger because whatever Jupiter touch, it makes it huge. Now, Jupiter naturally rules your 3rd house. That is the house of communication, languages, also like, communicating over social media, internet, telephone, I don't know, computer. And for you, it seems like you will be busy since you are busy since last year with your social media presence. As an example, you might have started, let's say, social media page. If not, then you will still have 6 months to do so, and it seems like you will do so. But just don't start it until, I don't know, mid of April, as I said, because we have all the planets retrograding there. Until June, you still have plenty of time, and it's Jupiter in your 9th house. It's sort of broadening, sort of you might have like traveling and also continue travel for the next 6 months every now and then to see new countries, new people, other like cultures, let's say, different languages, experience different languages. Some of you guys might learn a foreign language, go to courses and start learning a foreign language or speak a different language. Or some of you guys might actually migrate, like move somewhere else. You might get busy with those papers, documents of immigration, relocation, I don't know, citizenship. While Jupiter is in your 9th house, you have actually amazing chances to get your citizenship approved, like getting your passport, new passport of a new country, as an example, or residence permits, like temporary permits, whatever related to travel documents. Same to legal documents, you will have stellar chances in your legal arena. If you are in a lawsuit or just in this business, like in this professional area, you will be a star there because Jupiter will make you shine within your professional area. And especially if you're a teacher also, like a mentor, This is a house of teachers and mentors also, like teaching a lot of people, especially if you're in university, like a professor or someone that it seems like your influence will be bigger and bigger as someone who has wisdom, someone who teaches. And ninth house is also a house of publishing book. Some of you guys might publish book, not even one, but even two. And it seems like you are in a big luck to have to find suitable publishing house and editors. Everything seems like goes very well with this Jupiter in your ninth house. And your book might become a bestseller also. Have a great chances there. Now, for those of you who want to get second time married, because ninth house is marriage, second time marriage house, again, here you will have luck too. Seems like you might meet, someone who will become important to you, especially those of you who are already been married before, let's say. Now, it's also exams house, education house. Now, again, those Libras who are in studies or wish to study, you are in a huge luck of first 6 months, my dear Libra. So apply to universities. You have a big chance to get admissions, to get scholarships, and also to pass all the exams if you're already, let's say, studying and been hoping to pass sort of difficult exams. This is your time. Now, after June, Jupiter goes into your 10th house. Now, this is amazing placement to have Jupiter, because 10th house is all about career. Is the highest house in our chart, where everyone listens to us, everyone respects us, our reputation grows, sort of, and Jupiter is a planet of luck and abundance. Seems like your world becoming more prosperous and more heavier and reaching millions of people, my dear Libras, because Jupiter in 10th house, it's amazing. It's stellar. Now, you might recall back to 12 years ago, back to 2013, what was going on in your life. If you are at that age, you might think back and, nothing is similar, but still topics could be, nothing is the same, but topics can be similar, like very similar to each other. Like, for example, because 10th house is also about social status, like getting married or being single, being employed, being unemployed. So depends on your situation. It might be, as an example, I can give you, like back in 2013, you got married, but then you got divorced, let's say. And now when Jupiter moves into your 10th house, you might get married again, as an example, to some other person or to the same person. Or you might get divorced because this sort of story finished, let's say. But if this is your case, don't be sad, because means universe is liberating you from some relationship which is not serving you any good anymore, and it's preparing for you better one, meaning something better is waiting for you, my dear Libra. So don't be sad. I know as a Libra sun, it's very important for you to have a partnership, like to have someone as your love partner. Most importantly for Libras, it's very important. Now, 10th house, as I said, it's a social status and also career. In some other examples might be, for example, back in 2013, you've started a career in some company, in some professional area, and now 12 years after you are finishing that career, or you are quitting your job for the better one, like, or you're like climbed the career ladder and now you become a CEO in that company after 12 years serving in that place, as an example, so you can actually translate it into your own particular situation. Something happening there in your career. Plus, it's a house of prizes, titles, nominations. And in upcoming years, from June 2025 until June 2026, because whole 1 year it will stay in your 10th house, you will have stellar, amazing chances to make your name known, to make yourself a name, my dear Libras, to make yourself, let's say, respectable within your career field, to make yourself popular also, and to someone who are with influence, and responsibility, someone who everyone wants to ask for advice also. Now, if you say, it's not my life, it doesn't seem like relating to my life, then it might be about your father's life, because 10th house is all about someone we respect and obey, like our manager or our father. So it might be it's their life, something happening. so that it's affecting you. Those things like they're getting married, I don't know, or being a parent again, as an example. And in general, take good care if that's not your plan to get pregnant, because Jupiter in 10th house might give you this being a parent social status and getting pregnant, as an example, because Jupiter is significator also of this, happy child surprises, let's say pregnancy surprises. Now, let's talk about these slow moving planets. Because they will all change sign, and they will give you sort of a short preview, short clip, like a video of what's to come in the next 10 to 15 years, because all of them, they need like minimum so much time to change one sign. So whole perspective of your life is changing, my dear Libras. Now, first one, Neptune, planet of magic, on March 30th will move into your 7th house. This is one of the amazing news because, Neptune is a sort of pink colored glasses. So, on a good note, you might see the world and all other people. You might fall in love with other people, because it's 7th house is other people, it's directly opposite your sun, your sign, also your Libra sign. And it seems like you might start like making more everyone making more colorful, more better than they are in reality. But as a negative point, you might miss some important signals. So, but let me tell you, Neptune takes 14 years to stay in one sign. So next 14 years, it will be your 7th house, my dear Libras, all other people. So, from March until October 22nd, Neptune will be in your 7th house, giving you plenty of hints, plenty of preview and clip of what's to come in the next 14 years, when it will be back into your 7th house in 2026 January, because it will retrograde, meaning, and Neptune and all other planets, they will also go back to where they've been before, just to finish up some things. But 2026 will be the year when everyone will have new home, all these signs, and fully the sort of new chapter begins. But this 2025 is sort of like a rehearsal kind of stage, when you rehearse something. So, take a good note and just reflect what's going on in your life. Even you can even write down what's happening in your life. Now, Neptune in your 7th house until October. So from March until October, you have Neptune, and it might make you actually magical and all other people magical. Great chance that it makes, communication also very smooth. But at the same time, Neptune significator of thieves, and someone who lies, and someone who is deceptive. And this kind of people might be also attracted into your life. So I would suggest you to use your discretion, like use your intuition also. Who is a good and who is bad, and who is lying and who is not, who is cheating, who is not, these kind of things will be very important in the next 14 years. But Neptune naturally rules your 6th house. So it might be actually your colleagues, this kind of behavior, not necessarily to think everyone is negative, because Neptune anyhow will be making you more friendly, even more friendly and more magical surrounding you, which is positive, and it will teach you to see better side of other people first before judging, let's say. Now, Neptune for the past 14 years, it was in your 6th house since 2011, 2012. So 2011, 2012, when Neptune went into your 6th house, you might have, Neptune gave you quite a lot of changes within your daily routine, for example, and within your job, your work sector, and your communication with your colleagues. When Neptune moves out of your 6th house, you might start seeing the true faces, for example, of your colleagues that you worked along with, like for 14 years, as an example, or at least for the past 10 years. Or like there is like a lot of changes might be going on. You might change your routine, how you approach your daily activities, like what you do from morning to evening. Also about your work, also how you deal with the problems. Because last 14 years, my dear Libras, Neptune dealing problems, it's a sixth house, and like solving them. Neptune here was sort of giving you runaway kind of behavior or tendencies, because with Neptune, we like to daydream. We like to run away into some picture in our head rather than dealing with real life obstacles, let's say. But when Neptune goes out from your sixth house, you will finally face that and you will gather up your, let's say, will and power, and you will be against a good fight, let's say. And you will be all set because Neptune finally leaves your sixth house. Now, also, it's about health too. Neptune in sixth house, might have given you quite a lot of, viruses, flus, and also poisons, because Neptune significator of all those things. And you are more perceptive to those kind of things than anyone else in the room. For example, probably you've been the first one who got like this kind of viruses, flus, and all the stuff. But now that won't be the case. Seems like your well-being is getting improved, my dear Libras. Now, and Saturn also will follow Neptune into your seventh house, but it will happen on May 25th until September 1st. Now, Saturn is a teacher, is a strict teacher of universe, and Saturn from May to September will give you hints of what's to come in the next 3 years in your seventh house, because Saturn takes shorter period than Neptune to be in one sign, and Saturn usually takes 2 to 3 years, and it will move into your seventh house, so together with Neptune. But Saturn here will be balancing that Neptune for the first 3 years of after 2026, because Saturn will stay there until 2028. It will come back to your seventh house on February 14th, 2026. So February 14th will be the day somehow you will kind of sober up next year, even in 2026. But take notes between May and September what Saturn will be showing you, what it will be hinting you. Now, it will be balancing Neptune's, this deceptive sort of rose pink glasses sort of vision. It's more like a sobering vision, it's more clear vision with Saturn in your seventh house. And seems like you might also become cold or distanced, there might be some sort of a distance. Like you might start, if, for example, in your marriage, if you're married or in a long-term partnership, you might notice that in the next 3 years, you might develop sort of some kind of a cold behavior or distance between you and one and only. It doesn't mean that you will stop loving that person, but just there is sort of will be limitation, and limitation to your warmth, to your love. Saturn, whatever it touches, makes it smaller. It makes it shrink. It makes it limited and less affectionate, let's say. And that's why Saturn in your seventh house might give you this kind of behavior. You will notice yourself, and a lot of people might also tell you about this. Now, this is Saturn in your seventh house. And if you are married and, if your marriage already had some problems, Saturn comes in and destroys it. That's the work of Saturn. No need to be sad again, my dear Libras, meaning you will have someone better in the future. That's how universe works. It needs to liberate you so that you will have better someone in your life to come. Some space needed there. But if your relationship, if your marriage is strong, then Saturn will, you will withstand this test of Saturn through your relationships. That's one of the hardest, to have Saturn oppose your sun in your seventh house. And it's like, it's a bit of a bumpy ride, but still, if everything is going well within your marriage, within your committed love relationships, then everything will be okay there. Same goes to your business relationships, like within whatever company with whom you have contractual agreement, like with those people. If it was already there something going wrong, it might be that you will quit that job, or you might get fired, or vice versa. You might get rewarded for your hard work and persistence if everything was smooth and perfect, because Saturn is like a Santa Claus, sort of. It comes in and checks if you've been a good girl or bad girl, sort of like this, or bad boy, good boy, so that either it rewards you, either it just tells you to start from new. from zero, something like this. Now, Saturn for the past 3 years, since 2023, 2 to 3 years, since July 2023, it was in your sixth house, house of health. A lot of you guys might have experienced also some issues with health and especially back pain. You know, when Saturn goes through sixth house, it's about back or lower back hurting a lot, or shoulders, you know. Now it's more physical astrology. Now, Saturn in sixth house also about work relationships. You might have, how to say, find yourself within environment, within like colleagues that are more cold, more distant, not easily like going to communicate, sort of like this. Or alternative, you had such a boss or manager who's very strict, who's very demanding, and since 2023 July. And also in general, Saturn in the sixth house, it could have limited the job in general, job offers to you. A lot of you guys might have quit your job or got fired, or I don't know, company went bankruptcy and it's closed, or project is closed and you left without a job, as an example. Saturn loves to give these kind of things. Or, just sort of limited offers there for you to have a, let's say, full-time job. As an example, whatever Saturn touches makes it smaller. This could have been the case since July 2023. Now, let's talk about Uranus, which will change signs too. July 7th, Uranus, another slow-moving planet, which affects us more on subconscious level. And Uranus needs 7 years to change signs. So it means like it spends 7 years in one sign, transforming it. Now, Uranus is a planet of surprises and shocking situations. And it's a bit of, I love this planet because it has such a, how to say, interesting vibrations, because everything changes in split second. I love changes myself, and that's why maybe I'm very fond of this planet. Now, Uranus in your case moves into your ninth house, house of travel and all things foreign. Now, you probably already was feeling sort of this craving for more other countries, more other cultures, want to know more also, as I said, because of Jupiter in your ninth house. Until Uranus in July moves into your ninth house, seems like Jupiter will be prepping you there, making you ready, because Jupiter is transiting your ninth house until June. And it's sort of expanding your horizon, like mind horizon, what you want, what you seek, like what you after, for example. Now, Uranus also will give you a short clip of what's to come in the next 7 years, starting April 2026, because April 2026, it will be back into your ninth house to stay there next 7 years. But in 2025, from July until November 8th, it will show you shortly what it will bring to you in those 7 years. Now, ninth house is all about travel, all about search for meaning of life. In the next 7 years will be epic. You might be traveling, let's say, a lot, and suddenly, let's say, you will have sort of opportunities from going places, like different places, far places, and all of them are like different cultures also. You might experience different cultures here. Now, Uranus rules your fifth house. Now, fifth house is a house of true love. And those of you who are single, you might fall in love with the foreign, and that love will, struck you by, I don't know, thunderlight, for example, because ninth house is about foreigners, and Uranus is all about shock. It's something that you won't ever expect. You won't be waiting for it, and love will be knocking on your door all of a sudden, seems like, and it's an amazing one. Now, anyhow, it might happen even this year, from July to November. So you might experience this kind of excitement. Since 2018 and 2019, for the last 7 years, Uranus was in your 8th house, transforming it greatly. For the last 7 years, your 8th house, like money that come to you from other people, was changing greatly. Think back to those 7 years. What happened? For example, as an example, you got divorced, let's say, back in 2019, and your family budget changed, right? You're not anymore supported by your husband, as an example. And in general, your view on how to have a family budget also changed, whether you want to have it, whether not to have it, or like maybe you think that like your spouse should fully support you, something like this. But a lot of things change. For example, you got divorced, and now since then you lost, let's say, that support, and you've been struggling yourself support your life, let's say, or your kid, and you got alimony from your husband for your kid or for yourself. Some of you guys back in 2019 got married, and your budget, like you got a family budget there from Uranus as a gift. Like eighth house is all about money that you don't earn, but comes into your pocket from other people or other places like governments, financial institutions. And it might be that, for example, back in 2019 you started a PhD and you're still studying, but now when Uranus moves out there, you might actually lose it. It stops coming, for example. Or you started your studies, you got a scholarship, and now that scholarship finishes also. And the same, like you got, for example, divorced and you got an alimony for your kid, and that kid is grown up now, and that's it. Now that alimony will stop coming from your ex-husband or ex-wife, right? Or eighth house is also about inheritance. You might inherit it in the last 7 years, something from your family, like a property or money or something. You might have been that might have been your case. Now, eighth house is also house of health and healing and mystical things like conception, for example, like pregnancy. In the last 7 years, you might have had a kid, also got pregnant, you become a mama, let's say, or father, because eighth house is all about the fertility journey, conception also, and esoterics like astrology, numerology. Some of you guys got very interested in these topics, and for the last 7 years, you've been, how to say, now becoming a professional within that area. As an example, if you got very serious about it. Now, about also banks, like loans. For example, you've got a loan back in 2019 and now you repaid it fully. When Uranus moves out of your eighth house, you will be happy that you're free from this paying bank loan, as an example, or mortgage, I don't know, whatever related to taxes as well, and funding for your business. If you started a business like few years back, within 7 years, and you got some sort of financial help from some financial institutions or governments or banks, now it will be sort of, you will be free of obligation, or something will be finishing there, or maybe money will stop coming in as a result that Uranus going out from your eighth house. Now, let's talk about Pluto. Pluto is another karmic planet, but it changed sign last year, recently, fresh. And for the next 20 years, it will be transiting your house of, true love, house of enjoying life, let's say. Now, Pluto in 2025 will move from 0 to 3 degrees of that fifth house of yours. Now, those of you who have in Aquarius any placements from 0 to 3 degrees, you will feel the most of this Pluto influence. Pluto is a transformation planet and it rules your money. Seems like some of you guys might start a business around in 2025 with big money, let's say taking a loan as an example, or some of you might someone might invest into your business, like or your business might become so profitable because it will generate a lot of money, because Pluto is about big money. It's not a small money. But if Pluto destroys something, for example, went bankruptcy this year in 2025, Pluto loves to destroy first so that it will build something new. It's like a phoenix. You can think of Pluto as a phoenix. It needs to burn everything down to ashes to be reborn there again. So no need to be sad again if business will go sideways and it will close, or I don't know, something goes wrong. Some of you guys, especially as I said, from 0 to 3 degrees, you might experience these things. Anyhow, Pluto might gift you another business, better one to generate even more money. Now, fifth house about also acting, career, any sort of art, any sort of creativity, like photography, modeling, I don't know, singing, whatever you use, like your hobbies, whatever you use to showcase through art, Pluto will give you chance here to earn through that your abilities and skills, through that your hobby might become your number one income source here, my dear Libras. Now, fifth house is also house of children. Those of you who've been wishing to get pregnant or to have a kid, this wish will be granted. Especially those of you who has from 0 to 3 degrees of Aquarius, as I said. Now, let's talk about personal planets, because all of them gonna retrograde. Let's start with your ruler, my dear Libras. Venus, planet of love and beauty, will retrograde this year. Now, Venus retrogrades every year and a half. And Venus, when Venus retrogrades, it's not advisable to get married, to get, to get wed, for example, or to do plastic surgeries, because Venus is planet of beauty and also love, my dear Libras. It will retrograde from March 2nd until April 13th. So write down these dates, not to plan any wedding, any particular plastic surgeries. You might not like the result, my dear Libras. And it's your ruler. You're affected with Venus. For you, it's extra cautious you need to be during a Venus retrograde. Now, it retrogrades for 40 days and nights, so you have to survive this 40 days. We all love when Venus is in our sign, because we shine like a star and we attract people attention. We are irresistible to our surrounding. Plus, we have this magical skill to convince anyone into anything, and that period is also magical. So write down that period. Venus in your first house will be from October 13th until November 6th. This will be the moment you're gonna shine. Now, we also love Venus in 7th house, and you will be one of the luckiest zodiac signs in 2025 to have Venus in your 7th house, house of love, 2 times. This year. It's a double luck, sort of double love, enjoyment. Now, from February 4th until March 27th, right on time for Valentine's Day, you will have Venus in your 7th house. Amazing placement to enjoy with your one and only. And if you're single, you might meet someone special. And the second time when Venus comes back to your 7th house, because it will retrograde, as I said, from March 2nd until April 13th, second time when it will be back into your 7th house will be April 30th until June 6th. That's how long you're going to enjoy these love vibrations in your love house, my dear Libras. Now, Mars will also have unusual behavior because it's retrograding. Now, we will start 2025 with Mars retrograde. And, in general, universe seems like telling you to focus on your 2 houses, 2 areas of your life, since back September 2024. Now, since September 2024 until June 2025, Mars will be only in those 2 signs, 2 areas of your life. It's actually crazy how this is happening, but yes, because of retrograde. Now, from January 6th until April 18th, it will make you focus your 10th house. Mars being planet of activities, planet of passion and desire, and it seems like it will fire up your passion about career. Seems like you will be quite a lot and thinking and taking actions, like surrounding your career steps, what you want to achieve in life in general. Or some Libras might get busy with their father's life, like taking care of their father, for example, or their father coming in, being a guest and staying with them for holidays. But it will take as long as, I don't know, from January until April. Some of you guys might get busy with your social status, like, I don't know, maybe documents about marriage, or vice versa about divorce. Some like papers about your social status, like unemployment, for example, as an example. Or also, 10th house is all about titles and nominations. Here, some of them might get postponed, sort of delayed. Now, from April 18th until June 17th, Mars will make you focus in your 11th house. 11th house is all about friendships. It's all about social circle. And, here you might get quite busy with your social life. A lot of invitations, a lot of friendship like circle. You might see also your friends quite often between April until June. And you might be invited and visit some, I don't know, big events like concerts, some shows. It's all 11th house. Also, it's about social media, online presence. You might get very busy about your, I don't know, Instagram page, your brand, your like becoming a creator or influencer, something sort of this, because it's all about 11th house. Now, I would like to mention a couple of days that will be important. First one, February 23rd, when Neptune, planet of magic, will be united with Destiny node, North node, in your house of work. You know, this is extremely rare aspect, because last time, you won't believe me, it happened in 16th century. That's how rare is that. And you know, Neptune being planet of magic, it's conjuncting, like it's uniting forces with your destiny node in your 6th house. Like a lot of Libras around February 23rd might realize your life calling, might change, let's say, might get promoted, or got a job offer which is dreamed one, you know, which you dreamed about, as an example. Or you might achieve some success at work, or you might meet someone within your colleagues, someone special who will become your friend, or even more. For some of you guys, it will be about health. Now, Neptune here, it's about flus and viruses. Now, when it will conjunct around February 23rd, I would, advise you to exercise extra caution about like viruses around, about flu, and in general poisoning, because Neptune rules all those things, and it's, connecting with your destiny node in your house of health. Now, April 14th will be another very extremely rare aspect. Saturn, planet of responsibilities, hard work, and it's our strict teacher of universe, uniting forces with North node in your same 6th house. Last time they united forces in your 6th house was back in 1877, the 19th century, 150 years ago. This is how extremely rare. Now, Saturn conjuncting your North node here around April, mid of April, you might, pull on yourself a lot of assignments, sort of a lot of responsibility might be on your shoulders here. Or you might get promoted, but that promotion will come with long hours, and also hard work and big responsibilities, heavy responsibilities, because Saturn requires that if you are up for a job, and the universe thinks that you are up for a good job, actually, with these big influences, because Saturn is uniting there. Or around 14th of April, you might meet someone influential at your work, or you might have a colleague who will be this kind of behavior, who is always on time, who never late, and who's like, let's say, strict and with sort of rules. Now, and lastly, September 4th, we have Jupiter sending beams to your North node. Now, Jupiter is planet of luck, and it will be in your career house, and North node will be in your house of work. It's amazing one. It seems like universe wants you to be promoted, wants you to occupy highest chair, I don't know, in your company, in your sphere, in your professional area, whatever is that. Seems like you are attaining a status here around September. As I said, September will be the best month of 2025, and this is an amazing one. Sort of climbing the career ladder can happen here. You might reach your goal within your professional area, whether it's bringing a client, whether it's selling a lot, I don't know, like your targets, or whether it's promotion, whatever is that. Seems like universe is granting your wish around September 4th, my dear Libras. Now, this was your horoscope for 2025, and don't forget to check your rising sign, because rising sign influential, it's the most influential. But for some people, it might be sun, and could be moon too. So you need to compare which one affects you the most. I wish you amazing new year. Happy New Year, my dear Libras. Love you all. Bye-bye.